Hello trumpet players. Today on this video we're going to talk about how important it is to learn how to count. I got a request for a video telling people how to count, and I'm going to do that. It's just going to take me a little bit more time because it's going to need examples and that I can put up on the screen and stuff like that. But for now I want to talk about how important it is to do counting and what the benefits are, okay? And this all comes from, I had a previous request for someone asked me to count the second etude out of the trumpet etudes because it's got a bunch, it's in 8. And when you look at the page, it looks kind of like crazy. That's the thing, is this person was correct in asking for that. Because when you count it out, everything starts to fall into place. Now, but this video is to talk about the importance of counting, and to understand that, you have to understand what are rhythms. Rhythms, I think too many people think that rhythms are just length of notes. And you miss a huge part of what rhythms are when you limit it to that. Now, a rhythm is when you take the meter or the beat or the groove, but I prefer the word in this case meter. You take the meter and you divide it and add pieces of, you're just like splitting it up and adding pieces together to create different combinations based on different parts of the meter. Okay, so you cannot have a rhythm without meter. That's the most important thing that we're going to talk about today. It is not possible to have a rhythm without meter. All right, so to talk about why it's so important to count, we're going to talk about first, what is meter? So when we talk about a beat, now there's two ways of saying the beat. So like when you say, oh, that song, I like that song, it's got a great beat, you're talking about meter. But when we turn on the metronome, that's just a beat. That's not meter. That's just a beat. Meter is strong beats and weak beats, and then the way that the beat is divided. Okay? So when you talk about meter, you're talking about the way the measures are created with strong beats, weak beats, and the division of the beat. So for example, just a basic difference, you have 12/8 and 4/4. Both of them have the same strong beat, weak beat pattern. Okay, and the way I like to look at that is, and we're talking about classical music here, okay? It's different in other genres. The concept still applies the same way, but what I'm talking about with the different strengths and weaknesses, strong beats, weak beats, I'm talking about classical stuff right now, okay? In a 4 pattern, we're gonna have a strong beat, a weak beat, a medium beat, a weak beat. Strong, weak, medium, weak. Strong, weak, medium, weak, okay? So that's the same for 12/8 as it is for 4/4. Now, the difference between 12/8 and 4/4 is that the division of the beat is 3 in 12/8, and the division of the beat is 2 in 4/4, right? So here's counting in 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and whereas with 12/8 it's 1 right? Okay. Now when we look at 3/4 versus 2/4, 3/4 is going to have strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. 2/4 is going to have strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Oh, by the way, that's the difference between 2/4. In my opinion, this is all, we're in Eddie's world right now. So in my opinion, that's the difference between why you wouldn't write some pieces in 2/4 instead of 4/4 is that pattern, that strong, weak pattern. So 2/4 is going to go strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak. Whereas 4/4 is going to go strong, weak, medium, weak, strong, weak, medium, weak. Okay? You see that? All right. So that's all part of rhythm. If you don't have those differences, and it can be a lot more complex than what I'm sharing with you, but if you don't have that underlying feel, you can't play the rhythm right. I've had students. Okay, let me reword that, because you can play it right, but nobody will think it's right. I've had students that I actually recorded the rhythm because I was absolutely certain that what they were playing was wrong. I record it, I analyze it on the computer, and they're actually playing it right, but they're not playing it right. And this was before I figured all this out. If they put the emphasis in the wrong place, it's still the wrong rhythm, even though they're getting the lengths of the notes correct. It's still the wrong rhythm because it feels wrong. I hope this is starting to sink in, okay? So that's why we count, is so that it helps us feel the meter. If we count, and we don't have to try to feel the meter, just the counting just starts moving us in that direction. So when we go 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, that's got those strong and weak beats built into it. Okay, so that's why the counting is so important. It's not so, people say, well, I'm not gonna do the 1, 2, 3 stuff. I'll just get the right lengths. Not gonna help you. That's what the counting is for. Now the problem is, the counting is really just for low-level rhythms. What's supposed to happen is, as a result of counting these low-level things, and I mean low-level like the G minor A2 this year for the trumpets, okay? That's still low-level, even though it looks very complex on the page. It's not really that complex, okay? But there are very complex rhythms out there that you couldn't possibly come up with a syllable pattern to fit any of that stuff. But by the time you get to that, you should already be operating in the meter and shouldn't need that anymore. So, but yes, at some point in your progress, you need to do the counting so that you make that meter connection, so that the way you play your rhythms is connected to the meter. That's what the counting does. By insisting that you say 1, 2, where there's a strong 1 beat, you say 1. Where there's an upbeat, you say and. That's a naturally weak beat, a weak sound. 1 and 2 and 3, right? You're creating the feel of a meter. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and E, right? 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly. So when you get the counting right inside the subconscious part of your brain, you're now merging the note lengths with the metric feel. Okay, that's why it's so important. I will post another video on how to do the counting. Chances are someone's already done that before, but I probably have a few different ways to look at it. So I'll make one of those videos. It's just gonna have to go on my to-do list, and it may be maybe a couple months, I don't know. But I wanted to get this video out right away so that those of you who do have access to learning how to count, that you take it seriously, okay? Because it is something that will greatly increase your abilities rhythmically to a point where people will be very, you'll just open people's eyes. It's like, wow, where did that come from? Because once you feel them, oh, by the way, I have a little bit of an analogy for you. I played in the El Paso Symphony, and I played in the pit for the El Paso Ballet and stuff like that. And I was blessed with the opportunity to serve under Maestro Abraham Chavez. The performance center down there in El Paso is named after him. That's how much of a big deal he was. He said to us one day something that has stuck to me till this day. Every piece of music has a character, and you don't bring that character, you don't do the music justice until you bring that character to life. And in my opinion, now he didn't tell me this, okay, but in my opinion, the meter of the song is the character's heartbeat. So if you want to bring the music to life, you're not going to do that without the meter. Let that sink in. You don't do the music justice until you bring it to life. That character, every piece of music has this etude here has a character. And you cannot bring that character to life without the heartbeat. And that heartbeat is the meter. So yes, it's a very important thing to be counting these rhythms, because that's how you make that connection to the meter. Without that, it's just notes. It's just notes. And it's not alive. It's the equivalent of, well, I won't say that. That's probably not good. But anyway, it's just notes. It's not alive. Oh, you know what? Let's use this as an example. It's a computer. It's something that a computer will put out. It's not alive. We want our music to come alive. Right? Okay, so that's it. That's enough on this. If you have questions about meter, if you have questions about rhythms, please feel free to ask below. I have put the counting video on my to-do list. It will come out eventually. All right? Well, thank you very much. We'll see you on the next video. God bless you.